So life has been bringing me a lot of people and a lot of conversations with people who are spiritual. But I want to explain the difference that I see between a person who is in their enlightenment or who has moved into the fifth dimensional vibration versus people who are just spiritual. And sometimes these are people who have a lot of spiritual knowledge or who have very open third eyes or intuition. Or people who are very very loving, very non-judgmental, and they understand what love is. But I want you to understand that the reason most people don't move into the actual state of divine love and the state of the fifth dimensional awakening is because there is an aspect of truth there is an aspect of that this is the absolute truth and I'm going to live this without any compromise. So what most people are not doing is that when life shows you that something is right for you, I'm not talking about one thing being right for everybody and like a judgment like that, but it's that life shows you that this is the absolute truth. You have to allow your body to open up to that level of truth, that this is right, this is wrong for me right now, and this is just what it is. And usually our first sense is to close up and to think that this is not possible, because such absolutes in this world are not possible. We can't live like that. And the thing is that maybe there is some truth to that, but internally inside of ourselves we can embrace that this is the ideal, this is how this is what I am. I am this ideal state, this ideal being, making these ideal decisions and being able to live that out. So when you know yourself like that internally, life itself will reveal, like it'll unfold a way in which you can live as that being with that principle in a way that's also practical. But you have to understand that what most people do is that they will decide beforehand that this is the level to which I can do it, this is the level that is practical, and that stops growth, that stops you from evolving on your spiritual path. And if your main motive is coming into this most ultimate state of being an authentic being, enlightenment, because basically what enlightenment is service. And when it comes to service, it is about sacrifice. I'm not talking about sacrifice as in feeling bad and leaving something behind, but it's this total state of surrender and understanding that total surrender, total like absolutes are possible, and that's inside of yourself. Though the way that it reveals itself and you have to apply it in the physical comes after you fully surrender. So that means leaving whatever you have to leave. Like if your truth is you're being told that you have to change your life completely, where you live, where your job, your relationship, anything, any of these very important things in our lives, you have to do it, and you're willing to do it. And the first state is that you open up and you're willing to do it, and just that changes everything. This true, actual, real realization that yes, I'm ready, and I have decision that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. That is how we have to live. We have to live in absolutes, in this black and white, inside of ourselves. And so going back to what I was saying, most people decide beforehand, that well, this is my absolute, this is the absolute truth, this is how I want to live, this is the ideal, but this is not practical, so I'm going to do it to this level. So that is where your spiritual progress stops, and that is where you haven't yet moved into service. The thing is that it will become practical, but only when you first surrender inside of yourself, and it's like this feeling that yes, I'm available, and this is truth, that I have to fully do this, that I am in service to this, and this is how I have to live, this is the pure guidance that I've got, and I'm absolutely going to live this way. You make that decision, and then it sort of comes through your body, through the way that you're living, how you are to do it. And it can show up in various ways, and again, that becomes then another level of surrender, another level of change that we have to embrace, that I decided that this is the absolute thing, but am I compromising here? But you're not compromising, because life is showing you that this is the best way that you can serve, and this is how it's going to benefit in the physical. And I hope that I'm making sense. But basically, the point that I'm trying to make is that you don't compromise by making a decision beforehand that this is my limit. You have to go fully in. You have to fully surrender to service, that I am willing to do what it takes, and show me what that is. So you have to do that inside of yourself. And then life will constantly show you how you are to live that absolute principle in the now, right now, and that too will change. So humans, we don't like changes. We have a problem with change, like we always resist change. But it'll show you different things that you have to do at different times. Your identity, as you knew it, would change, because, and that is the state of egolessness. So sometimes that looks like doing something very mundane, like you might imagine a spiritual person having a certain job, like living like a yogi all the time, or having I don't know, like living in a place where there's absolute purity. But it can actually look like completely the opposite as well, because you're on the path of service, and that's what enlightenment really is in truth. So I urge you that, those who are on the path of spirituality, if you're wondering why you're not progressing, usually it's this one thing, that we are still okay, we still feel comfortable being this loving person, this more soft feminine side of love. But there's this masculine side of love too, which has to do with taking a decision and sticking to it and protecting truth, and just being open to that, and then being open to change as well. How that looks every at different stages of life, it will change. And I can promise you that most of the time what you're choosing, the person you are, and when you're married to truth, you have to be married to truth. That is the first thing you are married to, regardless of what you're committed to in your life, whether it's your job, it's a person, but that will be first for you. And when you live this way, you're not very popular with other people, or your opinions aren't anyway. Constantly society will remind you that that this is not going to work, it's not practical, or you have to you're too much, and you have to tone it down somehow. But the way actually is not to have a strategy that's external like that. It becomes well-rounded and toned down, as it were, on its own, when you internalize it and you expand and you fully surrender that I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and I'm going to live this absolute truth. That can be something like, not compromising by just like getting married because you're a certain age, or taking medicines and stuff that everybody just takes, waiting until you absolutely have to, or finding alternative paths for that, and not just popping pills, like at the first sight of illness. And having the patience, and that can be difficult. It requires trust. All of these things require trust. It's the same with career too. If you have to change your job, or you have to try something new, or sometimes going back to a job that is more regular, that's more like regular. So you don't know how it'll look. It doesn't have a certain physical look. The path of service and the path of spirituality, it doesn't always mean having a spiritual business or being this guru or whatever it is. It's a very internal thing, and it has to do with a full internal embrace and fully serving truth, fully marrying truth, and that will be number one. And then whatever that means for you, usually it's a bit challenging, it's a bit difficult, because it will lead you to these different changes, and you'll be required to constantly be willing to change and see yourself in a new light, have a different role, and that's just what the path is. But yeah, I hope that this video goes out to those that who are already living like that, let's say, and society is reminding you again and again in different ways. And these are people a lot of the time who want to look out for you, who love you, who see you at a certain level, but they haven't yet fully embraced 100% of truth themselves. Like, they don't live fully aligned in truth inside of themselves. So again, to end this, it's not a compromise and setting a limit beforehand about what's practical. It's embracing it fully, and being willing to that if something is right, I'm gonna go all in, I'm gonna live like that. And then life itself will show you where you can relax that, and what is right. And it has a way of rounding things off, if that's making sense. um, of course there will be challenges along the way, and most of the challenge will be finding yourself doing it in a new way each time, even though it's that same principle. The fact that it can physically look so different, that I knew this to be, that making money in this way was right for me before, and now it's looking completely different. It's the opposite. I used to have a spiritual business, and now I'm working a job for somebody else. But it's the same, it'll be the same truth that's moving through you, that was guiding you for something else before, because that is your path, and now it's guiding you for something else. But what will be consistent is that vibration of truth, that earlier it was there for you and now it's here for you. This is your purpose. So yeah, I hope that this is making sense. But embrace this and learn how to live it daily, how to choose truth daily, and that is what really moves you into your next level of enlightenment and really the ultimate surrender. And it's not always easy, and society will constantly be showing you otherwise, but that is actually a rite of passage, like a because you'll be moving into different states throughout your life, and that'll be showing you, something that, is this right? Like, you'll be considering through an external person or external circumstance, are they right, how right are they, this and that. But it'll be showing you that, taking you back, that the answer is actually within. That if it looks confusing on the outside, you always have to go within. And then when you do that and you find the answer within, you move into a new level of your service, something different. And this is the way that we are constantly expanding. So let me know your thoughts below this video. If you have any questions, I'm sorry if it was a bit confusing. It's past midnight here, but I really felt like suddenly making this video. So yeah, just let me know your comments and any questions, and I'll catch you in the next video. Check out enlightenmentcourses.com for personal services with me, for courses that actually take you through a step-by-step process of finding your own truth, of living truth and choosing truth daily. Takes you through a very step-by-step process. So yeah.